So I thought I would do some easy crafts for you all today. I have 3 fun little sheep inspired, because I have a thing for sheeps, and coming into that Easter season, let's why not do a theme. So first off, I'm starting off cutting board. Okay, so $7.29 at a Goodwill back in 24. I've had this for a while then. 2.24. So yeah. So just trying to, sometimes you have to buy something and have it lay around until you get inspired on what to do with it. So the thing that was probably holding me back was this little inset, and I'm going to see if I can pry it out, because for me it makes it look a little bit newer, and old things are my jam, so I like to make them look kind of beat up. So hopefully I can get it off. It's not all the way through. So let's see. I could rusty crusty it too, but I'd rather it just be wood. I know my paper's a mess, but I'm not ready to change it out until it gets a whole bunch of holes in it. So let's see if we can pop these out or not. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Yep, there we go. Didn't need those anymore. So that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Okay, so now I want to actually dean this up. It's way too clean. It's just going to be a decor piece. So I'm just going to take some random stuff. Yep, both sides. I'm going to take my Japanese saw and make some cut marks. If I needed some sawdust, so if you don't think it's cutting into it, it is. So now I'm going to take the sander over it and round the edges right here, the whole edges. I got to be careful because, it's a mass produced, and it's just like a little veneer over the top of some type of press board. So can't go crazy. Just dusted it off. I don't need to get it wet or anything like that. It's raw wood. Now that I sanded everything off, I'm going to give it a paint job of White Swan to begin with. It'll probably take a couple coats. DIY, which is a clay-based paint. Both sides. Nice thing about DIY paint is you can hit it with a heat gun and dry it and get your multiple coats put on. So with this being a clay-based paint, when I go to put the second coat on to get better coverage, which it covers really well, y'all, I'm going to mist it down because the wetness of the paint is going to grab and try to take off the paint that I just put on there. So I'm just going to take a mister bottle and spritz it down one side at a time, depending on how big your project is. And then the paint will go on nice and smooth and not grab off the other paint. Okay, so now I want to take some of the paint on. I know it always seems silly, doesn't it? Now there's 2 ways you can distress DIY paint. You can water distress it, or you can sand it, and I prefer the sander for this project. I'm just going to go ahead and wipe it down, and I'm going to be sealing my white paint in. So to seal that white paint in, I'm going to be using some polyacrylic in the clear matte. I told you we're sticking with the sheep theme, just how it kind of happened to work. So I've got the Farm Animals by IOD stamp. This is like a classic look. The Mercantile, I'm going to be using that stamp, that, and hold on, just wait, we're not done yet. Bringing back my grain sack stripes that I absolutely love. So it's going to be a little bit of everything going on this, but this is a nice size board. So the one thing I am going to need to do multiple layers of stamps is I'm going to need their AKA masks, which is these little guys of everything. And then I I had actually made my own masks back in the day before that these came out, because some of us have had them a long time. So you can kind of get an idea of where your stamp needs to be. My camera wasn't on. That's annoying. Okay. So I already stamped my sheep, y'all. So, oh man, there you go. That'll do it. I'm gonna make sure it's dry. Why does it? I don't know why my camera keeps changing off. So IOD black ink. So this is a big old wreath, y'all. So I'm always afraid it's going to dry out, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I feel like it's always touching it though. Like I wish there was a little smaller ink pad. Anyway, okay, so let's keep the camera on this time. I just hold it and then center, like my fingers are on the side. Then I'm centering it with that top piece. And then I'm committed. So I like to use a Cricut scraping tool to make sure that the ink is transferred onto my image. Same thing I did with the sheep, but not with the camera on. Can't hit reverse if you're not recording. Oh, there we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my heat gun, make sure that it's dry. Okay, so now I'm going to add some double stick tape to my stamp. I am so paranoid that my stamp is going to fall off. I've had it happen way too many times. I just can't seem to keep them sticky. Dawn dish soap, alcohol, every little hack anybody has ever told me, heating them back up, nothing works. Okay, so I'm going to line my stamp up with my stamping mount. I'm going to put my mask over. Oops. Make sure you'll know if you don't have it in the right direction. So there's my mask, and then my homemade one. It worked. So I'm going to be using Apothecary by DIY for the grain sacks. So I just put a little bit on a plate, and I'm going to be using the IOD brayer to apply the paint to the grain stack. I'm going to start from the bottom. Same thing. Oh, I think it twisted. I think it twisted. Yep, just going to use this from the Cricut. You can get these tools now at the Dollar Tree store. I have many of those little picking tools. See how that works? That's awesome. Enough workspace, can we? So this is the prayer. Please line up, please line up, please line up, right? Nope, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna make sure my paint is dry before taking a sander to it. So I just have 220. I just have 220 on my orbital sander. I'm gonna go very lightly. Okay, so I want to seal this all in. I'm just going to be using some polyacrylic in the clear matte, just like I sealed in the white. Almost done. Not quite done yet. So I'm going to add some of the Fusion's aging wax to this first. Remember, I sealed it in, so I didn't want it to be that like crisp white. And then all those little marks I put in there. And then now some of the Fusion's clear wax. I'm going to finish this up by using a little bit of a leather strap to make like just something you could hang it from. You could definitely hang it from there, but it's a little new. So let's set this off to the side. And I have a bottle of antiquing wax, Waverly antiquing wax in the black chalk paint, ink chalk paint from Waverly. And I'm going to just age that a little bit, guesstimate. I don't know. It's easier to tie to when it's wet, so just going to stick it in there. So then I'm just going to tie a knot. Sometimes it's nice to have those little extra strings. And am I going to paint a firkin? Sugar bucket? Yeah, yes, I am. I actually had this one in my own decor until I just recently upgraded, because that's what you do with your collections. You fill it in. Nobody knows that it was painted on the other side, and it says cookies. It probably would have had a lid. It's lost its lid, so it's time to give it a makeover. I think back in the day, just like us DIYers now, you just find random objects in your house and you paint them. So I'm going to go ahead, and I know that this is raised, so I'm going to try to sand that off a little bit before repainting this. So I'm going to go ahead and up my grit of sandpaper, because whatever type of paint this is, look at, as I'm sanding it, it's just spreading it around. So, I mean, it is getting flat, but I don't want that sticky, like I can feel the sticky. So I need to get that off. When it's gummy like that, it's going to just gum up your sandpaper also. So let's see if 80 grit helps or not. Okay, so wow, that was unexpected for it to be gummy. So I'm just wiping it down with some Dawn dish soap, some hot water, getting all that sanding dust, anything that's on there, which is mostly sanding dust now, but Could I sand it all down and restain it? Probably, but that would take all day. So I'm not going to do that. Round edges are not very fun. I don't want that bump. What kind? Okay, tell me. Tell me what kind of paint would have done that. I know latex is gummy. Usually acrylics, like what they would have painted, isn't usually too awful gummy, but I guess it depends on the time frame it was painted. So now that I have it all sanded, unfortunately I've got probably like a top coat, and then I've got where I've sanded it, and I've got it down to the raw wood, and I got the weird gummy stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and seal it in with some shellac. What color can you see it behind here? Mustard. Talk about primitive folk art colors. Look at that color. Oh my gosh. Has my heart. So I'm just going to get it on. Not going to worry about the bottom of it because I can like sand that off, like worry about taping it or anything like that. Do you all use a Lazy Susan turntable while you're painting? Look how easy it makes it painting this round object. Not going to say that I'm not going to get paint on myself because I am the world's messiest painter, but not that you all would say that, but Chris would say that because every time he comes home and I've been painting, I have paint all over myself somehow. Hence why you always kind of see me in the same clothes. If I'm going to ruin clothes, I'm going to ruin the same set of clothes. Okay, so I'm going to, before painting the second coat, I'm going to flip the handle to the other side. To the other side. I already am loving on the color. Ooh. So second coat, I don't know. Sometimes these lighter colors, it takes more than two, but we'll see. Maybe that first, oh, I don't know. Look at that. That first coat always really attracts that second coat. Okay, it did take 3 coats in spots, especially like on the handle. Now I am going to be putting a label on here or a little bit of something, but I do not want it to look like this clean paint job, so I'm going to take the sander to it and distress it here and there. Now I'm going to go back over it, because Fusion Paint has the top coat in it. Then I'm just going to smooth it down. It's a little shiny for me. I'm going to go ahead and smooth it down with just some fine grit, the 440 steel wool. Okay, so now I'm going to put, grain sack. I guess I have a theme today. This is Decoupage Queen. I must have used, there was one image that's plain without an animal, so I must have already used that one, but I'm going, even though the bunny and they're amazing, I'm going for the sheep. So I need to figure out how much of this I can fit on here. So I'm just using my fingernails to kind of make a guide. And I think like what I'm going to do is this side I'm going to keep, so if somebody wants to turn it this side, like kind of how like I was hiding it, I'm going to turn it this way. So then the sheep will be on this side. That way you have a couple different options if you know how we women are. We like to change our mind. Okay, so need to cut this down using my you use what you have. So if your fingernail works, that's what you use. It fits good, but I don't necessarily want to keep it straight. So I'm going to take a paintbrush with some water on it. I'm going to kind of like ragged the edges just a little bit of the water bottle. Little paintbrush. And then this one has fibers in it. Put my paper on. I'm going to be using Decoupage Transfer Gel by Fusion. So I'm just going to flip that little guy over. Just water. I'm going to flip this little guy over. And then I'm just going to put it on the entire back. And then I'm just going to put it on. Just go ahead while it's put the top coat to seal it in right on top. Then they'll dry together. Love it, love it. So it'll be two-sided. You could use this side if you want when you want to change your decor up, or you can use the label. But I am going to add some waxes to give it a little bit more age. On the label, I'm going to start off with like just finger tipping on. Even though I did seal it in, I don't want the label to get dark. So I want to protect it with the clear wax. And now I'll go in with the antiquing wax and give the rest of it some age. You know, it's a wipe on, wipe off kind of situation. It's not going to go in too much because Fusion has a top coat in it, but I buffed it, you know, with steel wool, so hopefully a little bit will go in. It has a hole, so I have to fill it up. So I'm going to be using these stems that I bought on clearance last year. I think they were at Michael's, though I don't really care for the green in them. I just want to use the little, I think they're like a little baby's breath, so no big deal. You just snip off the green that I don't want. There we go. And now I have I think that hue goes beautiful with it. So we'll put some floral foam. I think 2 will be plenty. And let's see how, oh, yep, they fit just fine. And then I'll just get it filled up. I might add a little bit of the grass after I get going here. The Spanish moss to cover up the floral foam. But let me get my first ones in. And then I'll just add that in there, and then I'll add more of the floral in there. And a fan favorite, y'all, the sheep planter from Dollar General. The hearsay is that they are back out in the Dollar Generals. I have yet to find one. I've only been to a few, though, because I still have a few in my stash, but I would have loved to share finding one with you all that are still looking for these. So check out your local Dollar Generals and see if they have them in for spring. I'm sure they're getting their spring line out. Everybody is. So, of course, I'd like to think that we YouTubers inspire the Dollar General to come back out with the sheep for spring, or they're just clearing their shelves with what they had from last year. Who knows? But I love the sheep, so I tried to come up with different ways each time to paint them because I like sheep to look like sheep. So I'm going to probably do, I love the black sheep in the middle, you know, kind of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But I'm going to start off with painting white first. And then I'm going to go ahead and use DIY's paint again. I like the coating and yeah. So let's just, because it really doesn't take as much, it seems like. Usually once I get that first coat on, and then I'm going to distress it so it doesn't have to be like this perfect paint job by any means. So that's even better. I'm just guessing which one's going to be my black sheep. I think I offset them the last time I painted one, so I think I'm going to put them in the middle this time. But you can see why I'm like, yeah, I'm painting the white first so that, you know, so my black doesn't intermix. Now, don't get me wrong. If I find some in a Dollar General, even though I think I have, because you viewers were so kind to send me some, I think I have 5 left on my shelf. So to make over, but I took a break. I tried not to do it too awful much, but I just had to let y'all know that they are apparently back onto the shelves. But I would definitely pick them up because I sold one in my retail booth because somebody backed out of an auction, which happens. But so I just ended up selling it in my retail booth, and it sold right away. So I would like to put some in my retail booth, but you know what? You guys are so kind because you see all the work I put into something to bid on it on eBay. So there's that. Get in their little booties. I mean, for being a $10 item at a Dollar General, it has a ton of detail. And I know other places like Amazon and stuff had them for like $30. I was told. I don't think I ever really looked them up, but I think it's the same planter. So there you go. So dried it with the heat gun. Now I'm going to go and spray it. That would be a reason to love DIY's paint. I think you do the same with chalk paint, but yeah, it makes a project go so, especially when you have to flip it over and you have to wait for the little feeties to dry. So before flipping it over and doing the other side, I'm going to spray the white with some clear coat, especially since I want to paint this one black. I don't want my white and my black to mix and make gray. Crayon matte finish. And that way that is all dry and I just have a little bit to finish up on the top. Okay, time to paint the black sheep. So little black dress from DIY. I'm going to start off with a small little detailed brush first to try to get my lines. So I think the thing that ties this all together is being able to wax it and add some distressing dust. I'm going to start off with the black sheep because black sometimes likes to be chalky. So I'm going to use some Jolie's black wax on it because DIY paint does need to be sealed in. So to add age, I'm going to be using Fusion's clear wax and then cinnamon and decrepit dust. A little bit of this goes a long way, but I like mixing the two together. It really gives it a aged look, but I have to use separate brushes on the black, of course. Change to the clear wax now. And then start adding it in. So it's the same thing I did with the black wax, but you just couldn't really see me doing it because it was black on black on black. Okay, new clean brush that doesn't have the black wax on it. Sometimes you gotta watch about doing brush strokes. Ooh, must have touched some black or something, or it made black. Careful, careful, careful. A smaller piece. There we go. I think I'll like that. Probably can have the same effect with wax, but I'm already in the motion of using it, so that's what I'm going to be using. So I'm going to put some greenery in my sheep planter, but the first thing I want to do though is give the black sheep a bell because I feel like he'd be the troublemaker and you'd have to keep an eye on him. So I have the a little bitty bell. I tried a couple of the twines that I had and nothing would fit through, so I'm going to use some of this rusty crusty wire I just happen to have on hand. That's cute. My Dollar Tree was out of the little blocks that I usually get, so I had to order some off Amazon. But I think they're still a good fit. So I think I should be able to break these in half and then make them fit. Looks like maybe 3. Maybe 3 in a slice. See if I can guesstimate the slice. Not terrible. So first, on top of there, I'm going to put a little bit of this vanished moss down. So I'm going to put a little hot glue, give it something to stick onto. Just a thin layer. So I ordered these off of CWI Craft. It's a wholesale company. It's called Baby Grass Tears or Baby Tears. I love the stuff. It's my favorite, absolute favorite greenery. Even though it says Colonial Cow House Design. Okay. So I'm going to snip some of it off. It's been packaged, so I'm going to spread it out. And then we're just going to go ahead and stick it in there and fill it up. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I know I kind of had a theme going on there, but it's fun. I just love doing thrift store makeovers, thrifted makeovers, things that have been in your stash for a little while. It's just time to get them made over and out there. So give me a quick comment down below which one of the ones I made over today were your favorite, and have I motivated you to get into your stash of thrifted finds and make a few of them over? Again, thanks for watching today's video, and as always, you're part of our YouTube family. Thank you so much. And if you're new and you're checking out the channel for the first time, and you liked what you saw, please hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know upload a new video. And we will see you next time, guys. And you can see what we're up to. Bye.